Alrighty, let's do this. Hey mummies, welcome back to the channel. I'm back. We've had a few things going on. We've moved houses, we've created another human, so I haven't been up to YouTube much, but I want to keep meeting with you guys, being a support for those in Australia, and I've had on my heart for a while to talk about preschool homeschool life. So I'm here to do that video. So I really hope this helps you. Stick along. I'm going to put in the description where I talk about certain things if you just want to skip ahead and look. But yeah, let's get into it. What I want to talk to you guys a little bit about is what is preschool actually about? What is actually important in your preschool years? Now, I understand even being a homeschool family, you could definitely send your kid to preschool. However, this video is specifically dedicated to people who are like, no, I want to just be their primary educator through their whole life. That's us. So I have done preschool successfully with two of my kids, and I'm now coming up to my third one at the start of next year. He will be 4. So the way I work in my house is I only do intentional preschool from 4 for when they're 4 years old, and then they start school 5 or 6. Because before that, they're already going along with our lifestyle and our group times and everything. They're learning so much, and they don't really need any, I guess, school training before then, specifically. Whereas I feel like when they're 4, they start getting really interested and they're like, give me paperwork. So my heart today is to come from the place of, I was a former preschool teacher before I had children. Absolutely love the age group. I've worked in childcare as well for many years. I studied part of a bachelor's degree of 0 to 8-year-olds. So it's where my brain really clicks, and it's something I'm passionate about. And I found a really simple solution to do preschool at home compared to what I feel like is advertised out there to a lot of people that can feel fun, but with high expectations. So hopefully what I share with you guys today that we do in our home, take what you want, leave what you don't, but hopefully it can inspire and encourage you of what some of the fundamentals are so that you can build up from that and feel really confident in what you're doing with your kid at home. So firstly, I just wanted to bring to you guys what the basic needs or desires are for preschool. Now, in Australia, the government has put a framework that's called the Early Years Learning Framework, which all childcares and preschools need to follow. I actually really like it. I think they've hit some nails on the head, and I always think back to it when I'm figuring out what I'm doing with my kids. The basic principles of it is being, belonging, and becoming. 3 B's, and I think it does hit everything that you really need. So when we're talking about belonging, what they're trying to do in an educational institution, whereas we will do this at home, is help our children to help them to belong to a group, a community, feel like they have a place in something, know who they are as a person, and that they're worthy, needed, wanted. They add to a group and they belong. Secondly is being. So we don't want to just skip ahead to getting them ready for their future life. We want to help them just be a 2, 3, 4-year-old. Let them just be a child, do a lot of play, a lot of hands-on, have really low expectations of maybe more academic things for them to achieve because their brains are really thriving in more of a creative, explorative, curious place. So I love preschool because you have such a free way to just really work on that simplicity of a child's natural curiosities. And then when we're talking about becoming, that is starting to put in some of those concepts of what we want them to be doing for school readiness. So I will tell you guys what we do in our home, and I hope that it can give you a simple guidance to what you can do in this area. Alrighty, so let's get into the nitty-gritty of how to homeschool preschool your little ones. Firstly, I want to encourage you guys to remember you're probably homeschooling them before they even turn to preschool age, because as we know, or we're trying to grow an understanding in, homeschooling is a lifestyle. It's not living the life you live with little kids and then tagging school onto it. It's about incredibly intentional parenting and creating really intentional experiences, resources, ways of life, training, connection with mum and dad and the community and friends and family to be growing a love for learning, an ability to learn through all aspects in life, and really enhancing what they're already thriving in, passionate about, or doing themselves with their hands. It's creating a lifestyle where we recognize as the parent that learning is happening all of the time. We sometimes can come along that and enhance it. We could explore it further in other avenues like books from the library or more experiences in that area, or we can step back and just honor and let that play and learning and curiosity grow. So to have that in mind, first off, something that I really prioritize with my preschool children is to make sure outside of bookwork or school time, I'm making sure I, as the adult and teacher, am giving them some resources and environments that they need to thrive in and that I would have focused on when I was at a preschool setting. So that is very simple. And I think if you're new to homeschooling, you'll start implementing these things and see you'll do them for the rest of your homeschooling time. If you already homeschool, you'll probably realize you're already giving your preschool a lot of great opportunities, and you can just add a few little things in here and there. So the things I try and focus on is firstly play, a lot of hands-on play, a lot of time for play. So that means giving them props or resources. Honestly, we don't have heaps of toys if we do, they're very intentional, but a lot of time outside or building things with their siblings or friends. Think about play, open-ended play, socio-dramatic play, just the imaginative play is what you really want to enhance and allow them to have in those early years, because play is the best way they can learn. It's also the best way they can figure out themselves and where they belong in, and all of these aspects. Second to that is connection. So I think often we can feel this pressure. We need to send our kids off because they need that social experience, they need to expand their minds and have more interesting things go on than just be at home with boring mum. However, I think we've lost the incredible recognition and importance that young children actually just need their safe place and their dependent adult that they feel really comfortable with and can go about a slower way of life with. So I try and make sure I'm including my preschoolers in everything I can do, and they love it. And I do this with kids before their preschool and after preschool, in that they are cooking alongside me, they're hanging up clothes alongside me, we're going for a quiet walk together, we're sitting in the grass and chatting together. Connection with mum and dad or grandma or siblings, whoever it may be that is close to them, is something that will really help foster a sense of who they are and grow those skills of confidence, safety, being loved. So I prioritize in those younger years, whenever I'm doing any tasks at home, I'm bringing them in and I'm including them so we can have that bonding time together. Next to this, I make sure they have heaps of time outside. Outside time is the best for their little brains, where they can be creative, get messy, be in the dirt, play in the rain, go for bushwalks. We have our own property, so we get to go for a walk every day, and they're climbing trees and jumping in ponds, and we really try and utilize them being outside every single day. And if you find that tricky for you, book it into your day. Like my kids need to, after rest time, and then we have some group time together in the afternoon, they have outside time. That is just a requirement. So if you need to do that, book it in and train your child up to be outside independently or alongside you, whatever works for your family. Lastly, I really make sure my kids, all of them, have a lot of rich literature. So from when they're like a few months old, I'm reading books to them daily. So we have heaps of picture books we're rotating. We're going to the library. I'm always learning new, good quality picture books that I can bring to them. I honestly believe in picture books so much. Like, you can teach a child so many bigger things of life. You can teach them about how they feel about another person, about the animal kingdom, about the design of God and everything He's created, about rocket ships and planets and history and so many things through simple picture books that you then have discussions with. Alongside this, with my older kids and my younger ones, we do a read aloud that we do here and there throughout the week. We also have a lot of audio stories and podcasts playing. We also read the Bible with our kids. We're bringing them a lot of literature all the time, because that is just a great way for them to be exposed to letters, language, vocabulary, and just be growing curious ideas, because this is what we want to do. We want to grow curious, confident children who know how to learn. So once I've got that as my foundation and I'm making sure they're having play, connection time with me each day, that doesn't necessarily mean playing trains on the rug. It could, but it also could mean they come and do your jobs with you. Lots of outside time and lots of literature. I then, when they turn 4, start bringing in an intentional group time just once a week. So it's easy to look out at all the amazing homeschool curriculums for preschoolers and think they're great, but they are extremely overwhelming. Unless you have one kid only, or you have this incredibly high capacity, it can feel like I'm going to fail my child if I don't buy one of these preschool curriculums and then I do a specific cooking task, a specific pile of books, a specific art craft every single day that matches that letter of the week, and you need to get all of these props at the start of the week and have everything printed off. And there is such a place for that, and it's beautiful. But I also want to encourage you that if that's not where your head sits, or you're already homeschooling other kids or whatever, and you just want to give the basic, rich, good stuff to a preschooler, this is what I do. So alongside that life stuff you can just implement naturally, I do one group time a week that I'm already doing group time with my bigger kids. I just make sure one's focused on the preschooler and everyone loves it and joins along, where they learn a letter. So my focus and desire for my children before they hit kindergarten is to know their numbers up to 20, which I don't have to teach them. They naturally learn that through life, and we count with them in the car, and we count with them with their pebbles, and we encourage all of that through song and counting in normal life. They're also learning, obviously, all their animals, sounds, shapes, colors, all this basic stuff through just doing normal, rich life with our kids, and providing a lot of good learning materials for them to pick up and look at and learn through. But my focus is to have those numbers up to 20, and then I'm pretty much just teaching letters. So I'm focusing more on the letter sound, but I do want them to know the name of the letter, and then have some basic handwriting skills. So it's not handwriting in writing sentences or words. It'll be like their name, and they're able to start forming some of the letters and numbers. A lot of handwriting practice of following lines and zigzags and things, just to get that hand motion well. And then they are joining us for all the other group times we have of the week, where we're doing multiple sessions of craft and reading and exploring volcanoes and geckos and all other stuff. So my preschoolers are with us in all our group times. They usually have a little activity book, or they play when we do our book time. So I have a book time and then a group time. Group time is facilitated to all ages, and it's unit-based projects where they can join us. But one time a week, that unit-based project will be on a letter. And I follow pretty much the same structure each time. So to teach a child a letter, I will have the letter of the week. So let's say it's A. I would bring everyone in, say, guys, we're going to do our group time today. We're doing my preschoolers, their name, letter, which we're up to M. And then I would do little activities that are pretty similar each week, so I don't have to think much on that letter. So we would print off a big letter and either have like painting, sand, pom-poms, textures, whatever we want to do to decorate it while we're chatting. That'll just be in the middle of the table. And then I'd usually show them one or two simple YouTube videos. Brings the kids in, and it helps their minds stop what they're thinking and actually focus. I use like alpha blocks, or the good and the beautiful letters, or there's another one. I'll include them in the description, and they're like 1 or 2 minutes, and they're just like, M, the letter M makes like munching, Mr. Magic, like whatever, like the letter M, and it'll show how it's connected to words and its sound. And then I have a little activity sheet. I usually just print them off free from Google. However, this time I did buy one off Etsy. That was $20, and it just has 5 or 6 activity sheets that are connected to that one letter. And it's just a fun explorative time. Sometimes they can trace them and do them. Sometimes they just want to color letters A. We'll get them to do little games where they run through the room and have to pick up 5 things that start with A. Or we do silly sentences and go around the table and say like, Annie's apples are extra amazing. We also do hand motions for the letters. So that's from the good and the beautiful. And like A is like A goes apple. And so we're continuing and adding them on and repeating last week's one. But that's pretty much it. I also do have the Letterland book, and you can use any letter book you like, but it has a little character, and I'll have that open on the table and read the little story of introducing the character. And then we'll probably stick our letter things up on the wall, and throughout the week I'll just work with my preschooler and be like, oh, that's an A word, and remember and just bring it up for them in the week. But otherwise, that's all I really do for focused attention. So in short, I have the few YouTube videos, the big letter to color or paint, an activity sheet or 2 on that letter, And then I read from the Letterland book or any alphabet book you might like for your kids. There's like Australian animal ones, and we play around sometimes and bring like a Dr. Seuss one in or an Australian animal or something like that to make it more fun. But my kids love it, and it's reforming the ideas in my older kids, and they're alongside the younger one, encouraging them and teaching them, and they're looking at their sibling doing a good proper A, and they're like, okay, I'm going to try and do a big proper A. Like, I don't isolate my preschool student to do preschool work. It's about life. So I'm bringing them into our normal group time, giving them an easier version, and then I'm bringing the bigger kids in, because they are still quite young, into our group time to learn a specific letter. So that was a lot of information, but I hope that helps you understand that teaching a child the basics, and I believe this for all of homeschool, it's more about consistency in the little things and moving with them at their pace and being gentle, rather than needing a whole 6 hours a day, tick all the boxes, make sure they get it, push. Because I really do believe at these younger ages especially that their little brains are still forming, and the way they're going to really grasp things is through tactile, hand, talk, connection. And if you're an intentional parent, your child is going to be learning so much. Like, my kids know so much about geography and history and even word formations that I did not know throughout all of primary school. So it all comes together, and please ask any questions you want in the comments. I'd love to help you, and just know that you're doing a great job, Mama, and that homeschooling is rich and amazing and difficult. It's not for everyone, but if you want to do it, then you can do it, and I want to equip you with what you might need for that. So let's chat in the comments. Thanks so much for being here.